Live. Still showing good.
Yeah, see, it's good right now.
Yeah.
Because we're broadcasting, so maybe it's because we were in two at the same time at the beginning of the last one. Now it's down to okay. Your stream's current bitrate, 940 kilobytes a second, is lower than the recommended bitrate. We recommend that you use a stream bitrate of 2500. Backup stream. I don't know, maybe it is going through my connection then. Somebody else could try hosting and see if it makes a difference, I guess.
So what did you have to? You just started a new Hangouts and then.
No, so you actually go to YouTube, then you go to live streaming and events. You create an event, and then there's a button that allows you to basically start broadcasting with Hangout, and that's when you get a new Hangout window that's connected to YouTube. I'm not sure how this is appearing to the external world. I'm not sure if anybody's actually watching right now.
Yeah, there's people in chat.
Well, hey, chat, how do we sound?
It seems to be somewhat stable at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so nobody touch anything.
You know I can't do that.
Press the button.
Yeah, that's what I do. I press the buttons.
JT Dragonflash is in chat. I haven't watched your latest broadcast yet, JT. I saw that you were broadcasting from your car related to Uber today. We got NJ Printing in chat.
Hi, guys. I'm Colin, if you don't know.
This is Colin from Colin Break Stuff.
Make stuff. And I do break things at times.
I am hoping we resolve the sound issue, Mr. Verbal, but please tell us if we didn't. Our last chat sounded like it was a 56K modem, so.
No problem, NJ.
We did not prepare an itinerary for tonight, so now is a great time to be asking questions and stuff. We're just going to hang out tonight. We're like, oh, I might as well invite the rest of the internet.
We're on the internet. We're taking the rest of it down with us.
That's right. Yep. We're gonna need somebody who's real good with their Photoshop skills to design a logo that's, like the Fry from Futurama. I guess maybe holding a calendar instead of cash to shut up and take my Wednesday live stream.
I've never had the Photoshop skills. I never got into the whole graphic design thing. That was never my forte.
I'm decent with MS Paint, so
Because MS Paint is the best.
That's right, 110%.
I've tried using GIMP, but
yeah,
it's freaking confusing as heck to me. So
yeah, it's just as complicated as Photoshop almost.
Yeah, NJ, I'm crawling my way up there.
Tooth and nail, he's scratching his way to the top.
That's right.
I lost 1 sub today and gained 2 afterwards, so I'm at 26 right now.
Hey, you're still in the positive for the day. Oh wait, I'm subbing from you now. Break even.
Yeah.
Something was going on with YouTube the other day. I don't know what happened, but I was setting. I lost like 8, just right off the top for some reason, and then it just slowly started to build back. So I don't know if it was a YouTube error or it was a bank error, not in my favor. I don't know, but
You didn't
What
pass.
if they're
Yeah,
I wonder
no-
if they're doing like a recount of everybody just to make sure they're not bots or something
they
like
could
that.
be. They could
They
be
do
just
that frequently. Go through and get rid of accounts that they think are not valid or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Ron,
sorry, go ahead.
Hey, Brewitt.
I know I went through a similar thing a couple of days ago where it was like it suddenly dropped like 3 or 4, and then by the end of the day, I was up by those 4 plus another 4. So the algorithm's constantly working, but never in our favor.
Yep.
I finally managed to get the faceless model printed off of the FL Sun, which actually,
That looks really good.
yeah, it turned out the swords kept failing because there's so little for it to build off of, but
Whatever that purple is, man, it looks really good. It looks like expensive filament.
this is, where is it? Second, it's above me. It's a amazed lavender PLA. It was literally the cheapest stuff I could find on Amazon. I think it's like $17 a roll or $16 a roll for US. It was. I don't know if it still is, but yeah, it's this stuff here. I really like the color. That's what I did the lightsaber in as well.
I don't know how much it is in Canada right now, but me and Chris found AIO filament PLA for like $10 a piece here.
The AO stock comes in what, 500 grams?
No,
Oh,
these are for 1 kg.
oh, geez, that's a good price. This is why I need 2 monitors so I can keep an eye on the chat at the same time.
I should give the credit to Chris because he found the AIO filament.
Good job, Chris.
Yep. I need one more pat on the back. Go me.
Hey, everybody could always use more pats on the back.
Yeah, Ron, I've noticed that AO is always 500 gram, and that's why I was kind of looking around. But it looks like all their 1 kg stuff, they're just getting rid of it. I don't know if it's old or what, but I've printed some really big stuff with it so far, and it seems to be good. So for $10,
Yeah.
I'll spin the wheel and give it a try.
I've used it on one print and it seems really smooth.
I've had really good luck with like cheap, absolutely no-name filament so far. I think most of you guys saw this during the live stream, but this here is the dragon the Adelinda that I printed off. It was the first big print I did with the FL Sun, and that's printed with the sample roll of blue PLA they sent in the box. So it's like completely unbranded, which is upsetting to me because I kind of like the finish on it. I would like to buy more of it, but you know, no brand.
I really like its glossiness.
It is very, very shiny.
What's up, Brian? And Mr. Murphball. Oh, you've been here. Hey again.
That's weird. The links in chat for your channels do not work for people.
Whose channel?
Oh, I see why. Because I'm stupid. When I copy and pasted out of the old chat, it grabbed the ellipses at the end instead of actually finishing the channel name. So bear with me, guys. I gotta fix the internets.
See, now it's James breaks stuff. Who's breaking stuff now?
Stop
Yeah,
breaking
that's
stuff.
Next time I will concentrate on breaking your spirits. Ah. Okay, so columns will be fixed. Nobody cares about Chris's, so I'm not going to fix Chris's.
Nope, nobody. Don't even fix it. Just leave it.
Yeah.
Check out this last cube the Photon did. It's not Maker Muses. It's Anycubic's own rendition of it.
Hey, it's hip to be square. Looks good.
Pretty cool stuff.
I really want one of those printers that uses toxic goo now.
Yeah, man, I had to get out of the room though, man. It was starting to get to me.
Crap, Chris, I have to take a picture of your sub count on YouTube right now. Do you know what YouTube is reporting your sub count on if you search your channel?
What?
1337.
Oh, nice.
Which I'm assuming means something to you guys. No. What the video gamers say for elite. 1337, it's elite speak.
Only the video game people know this stuff.
True. Okay, saving the changes. Everybody's links should work now. Mine was the only one that worked because I used my actual channel name, the /print and play. Totally unintentional, he lied.
We know why yours is the only one that worked.
The link to my channel, which ultimately is the one that's needed the least, was the only one that worked down in the description. Because everybody coming in here is on mine right now. Okay, so you guys should be able to refresh now, and Colin and Chris's links will both work. Yes, I don't have. No, actually, I don't have it muted. I don't know. The Yeti's just not picking it up, I guess.
Yeah, this stream is, if it's happening, on the good side of things, it's just luck at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that's going right is just the right kind of wrong or the wrong kind of right.
Because I think this is officially the first time I've ever tried to do anything like this on YouTube. So
it's going to count for two, the first and the last.
Yeah, guys, definitely give us feedback of how it's coming out live, because right now we don't see anything on YouTube. We just see the live chat.
Yep. And feel free to broadcast this link around. Or don't. I don't care. I'm not going to beg. I do have to upload the link on Twitter, though.
Now we need content. So, James, what's the next project for you? That's not a spoiler.
I'm not really. I guess I'm not going to worry about the spoiler stuff anymore. I mean, if people want to take my idea and do it before me, then I'll just hate them for the rest of my life. What I'm working on next is probably the Miss Pac-Man / Galaga cabinet. I know. Well, actually, that's not true. I do have one that I'm not going to spoil though. But do you remember that? Let's call it super budget 3D printer I was talking to you about.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna come to fruition in the next month or two. So I think that'll be the next big project.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. After that, I'm gonna design 100 million arcade cabinets.
100 million mark.
Probably sell it.
Those things are cool.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the way that one turned out. Even the prototype, which is sitting back here and it's probably damn it, I just knocked the clip off the CR10. Even the prototype that's sitting back here and probably never going to see electronics in it, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. So,
what'd you do to create your top logo glass on those things?
For here?
Yeah.
I haven't finished the bracket. I haven't found a way to mount it that I'm super happy with, but essentially I'm going to have something that clips on, and then it's going to be just like a thick piece of photo paper or whatever with the image painted on it. You could even go with like a kind of piece of plexiglass that sits in the front of it, but it doesn't take much, right? Like the 1943 cabinet that obviously isn't in the shot. You guys may have seen it. I built one a while ago. It's just a piece of photo paper with the logo and stuff printed on it, and then it's encased behind plexi. So,
cool.
That's pretty much it. What about you, Colin? What's your next? What's your next or first big project for your channel?
I'm going to refine my UV cure cylinder thing, just to make it look nice, I guess. Thanks, Mr. Furball, for subbing. And I'm also working on making an activated carbon filter for the damn Anycubic photon, because the resin is just horrible in a room. Or have it vented out of the window.
Just do all your printing in your front yard, no problem.
Yeah.
It's an enclosed printer. I mean, it should be fine.
Put an umbrella over it. It'll be all right.
That's like Ron, Brew It, Print It, Build It, Blast It was talking about building a hang printer and setting it up in his backyard and doing his printing out there.
If it was hot enough outside, you wouldn't even need to extrude it. It'd just melt.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't. Unfortunately, all the PLA, well, if you print any of the parts in PLA, they would melt with it. So,
yep.
It's an abstract 3D printer now.
I call it Picasso.
Picasso bot. Okay, Chris, now it's your turn to talk about what your next thing is. Or is this going to be all a play where you're like, oh, my next project is 3D printing a Miss Pac-Man cabinet and creating air filters for. This is all just a ploy to get free content?
Man, you got me. That's exactly what I was doing.
Do it.
And,
disconnect from chat now and leave.
Yeah, I'm out of here. And how old are you? I'm older than both of them, so that's all I'm going to say. You guys fell into that trap, not me.
I don't care if people know my age. Ain't no big deal. I still get carded when I go to the LCBO here. I don't know what your equivalent is. I guess the corner store. You can buy booze in the corner stores down there.
Yeah, I just walk down the street.
That's okay. You guys can get alcohol out of your. I was gonna make a pot joke, but you guys are legalizing pot all over the states. So, but yeah. Canada as of July will have it legal countrywide. So,
wow,
super
just
progressive.
Like that. Yep. Yeah, we've got state. It's got to pass in state as well. Even though if it's a federal law, it has to go. Has to pass state as well, I guess.
Makes sense.
Now, as far as projects go, I'm just kind of trying to grind through the content at this point. I've got a handful of printers that I still need to review. I've got some models for other YouTubers that I wanted to make and get out there. I've got a lot of maintenance. I got a lot of repair stuff that I need to do. But it really right now the crunch is finding the windows, because I like the whole for the channel. I like both. I like the content. I like the printer reviews. I like the new printers, but they take a lot of time. But I also like the cheap 3D printed projects, because I think a lot of people at some point when you have a 3D printer, and now you got me talking, but at some point when you have a 3D printer, you hit this thing, this now what? Okay, yeah, that was fun. I've made every Pokemon figure and everyone's birthday present and Christmas present for the whole year. Now what do I print? And so I like the projects are really cool, like the Rubik's Cube bot, but it was really expensive. You know, $250. That's probably not something that everybody's going to be willing to lay out. So I like finding the cheap ones that are still somewhat interesting, and you can easily build upon that. So I want to keep doing stuff like that. And then you know, the live stream portion. I like the live stream portions because we get to do stuff like this and we get to hang out. It helps you actually, with the people that are watching your videos, you can place the name to that person, and that makes it more of a community type thing. And you can get other people involved in YouTube. You can grow the community that way a little easier, I think. So I'm just kind of all over the place at this point. I'm still trying to turn out a couple of videos or a video on a live stream a week, and it's just taking content one at a time, really, right at the moment. And I hear good ideas all the time, and I try to write them down, and I'll get to them eventually, basically, at this point. So just all over the place. No really cool projects, though, at the moment. Right now, and this is probably a good segue into the next conversation, but right now I'm on a race towards MRF. I got some things I really want to get done before we go to MRF, because we're going to be there all weekend. So definitely, that's the biggest event coming up right at the moment.
My coworkers are convinced, by the way, because I decided I'm going to MRF today, and I showed them where it's going to be, and they're convinced that all you guys are tricking me to go down there so you can harvest my organs, and that this isn't a real.
we need your Canadian organs.
You're so polite, eh? Shove off, you hosers.
Yeah. As far as content on my channel, I'm not really like, I know the basics of like computers and stuff like that. I can do some things on Arduino and stuff, but I'm more of a creative person, I suppose. So I'm really trying to get my Fusion 360 skills honed and just designing my own stuff. That's more or less what I think my channel is going to be about. And it'll probably veer off of other things as well. So not necessarily just 3D printing.
My Fusion 360 skills are all pretty much brute force.
Yeah.
I just hammer at something until it does what I want it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so much doing it, Ron. I'm not doing so much a printer for Murph. I have a printer I want to take to Murph, but I still have to get it out of the box, and we have to spend a little time hanging out while we print with it to see if it's going to be any good or not.
You mean you don't want it to catch on fire at Murph? I mean, that would be exciting.
That'd be fine if it did at Murph. I just want to get it there first.
That's fair. I'm debating if I bring my 3D printed arcade cabinet or not. Mostly because then I will definitely have to carry it around with me pretty much the entire weekend. But since the entire thing runs on 5 volts and I've got a 20,000 milliamp battery bank, I'm thinking I can bring it around and leave it powered with that. So that'd be probably pretty cool.
It would be cool.
You have people standing in line wanting to play it all weekend, probably.
I'd probably get broken in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's built to withstand the type of playing and stuff I do on it, but it's not built to withstand the number of kicks an actual arcade cabinet takes. And I have had, even with my MAME cabinets in the past, people that, you know, get the upset and start taking chunks out of it. So
you should take it and have everybody sign it.
I was actually considering that. I was considering printing a new panel for the back that's mostly solid and then getting everybody to like sign it on the inside or whatever. Because there isn't like a ton of blank space to sign on it, but I might do that.
That'd be cool.
Or I could 3D print something that's totally like inappropriate and get everybody to sign that. Make it awkward for everybody.
I'll sign it. I just don't want to touch it.
You're just like holding the pen like way off like this and just barely making contact with it. Let's see. Trying to keep an eye on chat. So inconvenient having 5 billion different windows open for all this stuff. JT Dragonflash is currently working on his FL Sun printer. I think, yeah, it's FL Sun. And it's an FL Sun that looks like it's a knockoff of the CR10. And it basically did everything that the CR10 did wrong. So he's been re-engineering it from the ground up. Like at this point, you could basically take the parts that he's designed and printed and then buy like the aluminum extrusion and build it yourself without needing the FL Sun kit.
Wow. FL Sun is pretty new, isn't it? Because I hadn't heard of it till you started bundling with your FL Sun.
I'm not sure how long they've been around, if I'm being honest. At least a year.
Yeah.
But that's not a long time in years. I have a sneaking suspicion that FL Sun is another gear... well, no, it's not, because they're on AliExpress, too, aren't they? I was going to say that they're a GearBest exclusive, but I guess not.
Yeah, I didn't start seeing them on GearBest until about 3 or 4 months ago, because they were new arrival, flash sale, everything on those things for a little while.
Right.
So, but AliExpress, sometimes they get stuff a little faster, it seems like. So they might have been around for a while now.
And I know this printer was released back in June-ish. So it's funny. There hasn't. The other thing is too is that they have weird names for stuff. So this is the FL Sun Q Cricket, but there's also an FL Sun QQ, an FL Sun Big Q, and like going through some of them, there's certainly ones that look like they're exactly the same thing with different names. So yeah, I don't know. I will say for the price that I paid for this one, I'm happy with it, even though I had to put some work into it. But that's the thing people often don't realize is that if you buy a cheap 3D printer kit with a few exceptions, it's going to need work out of the box. You can get it working to the point where you're should be relatively like happy with it, but to get perfect print performance out of it, and sometimes to make it safe, you have to do some work to it.
Yeah, so I get a lot of people in the comments disagreeing with me about that actual fact, and in the chat they will probably disagree as well. But when you get a cheap 3D printer kit and you set it all up like the directions say you're supposed to, or if it had directions that they say they're supposed to, and then you end up with something that really causes you a headache. And the biggest one that I find is warp bed. You always end up with a warp build plate or something like that. Or
because it's very difficult to process alumina perfectly. Like you need to use the was it Make 6 aluminum to get guaranteed flatness, and they don't use that.
Right. Yeah, this stuff is not the highest quality, especially when you're getting printers that are 300 by 300 or more. And these PCBs are this big, and then they expect them that they're going to be flat. That's just not going to happen. But when you have something like that, that's at best really irritating, I don't call that success.
No.
No matter what price it was.
You treat that as a starting point, and then you start to figure out the ways to. And that's why it's difficult to also like get a group started around a new cheap 3D printer. The CR10 has been very well supported, and it does do good quality prints out of the box. But I think Chris, you and I have both found that if you don't make modifications to it, it doesn't age super great. Once you put a few hundred hours on it, if you're not doing the dual Z upgrade and stuff like that, then your print quality is going to start to go down a little bit. Like it's inevitable. But yeah, it's very hard to get a community started behind a new cheap 3D printer because they're all going to need work, and everybody wants the work done for them ahead of time.
Yep. Yeah. And that's kind of the problem with all these new cheap 3D printers. People who really want to get into 3D printing look at these cheaper printers and they get them, and once they get this cheap kit, they're going to be dissatisfied because it's not working straight out of the box. They don't realize that you got to put work into it to get it working right.
Well, that's the thing. Like most of the time, the work they need is more. It sounds more daunting than it is, but like you do need to be prepared for like anything from like printing new fan shrouds and stuff like that to get the optimal performance out of it. To a lot of these boards are built sometimes substandard or sometimes just not assembled well, so you might have to get your soldering iron out and make some changes. A lot of the changes, like the one I hit with the FL Sun, where the connector either wasn't clamped properly or wasn't rated properly for the amperage, I'm kind of like, I don't understand why they don't just solder directly to it anyways and avoid the connector. It would be safer. They wouldn't have any issues with it. But I guess it's because it's all hand assembled and it's cheaper to have somebody that just knows how to drive screws than it is to work a soldering iron.
Yeah, I run into that stuff over and over and over, and it's frustrating. But it takes the right kind of person. I mean, I know people that would open that up, expect it to print flawlessly for $100, and the minute it doesn't, it's garbage, and they're going to slash and burn their way through the internet telling everybody so.
Yep. 1 star.
Yeah. Or they're going to spend $100 and be somewhat entertained by this. I still can't believe the prices of kits. You can get 5 steppers and any kind of controller board for $100 and some odd dollars. That's just amazing.
That start kit that you bought, I was like, I would almost go and buy that and use the parts from it to build something rather than trying to order all the parts individually.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. I mean, if you can get them for $100 and free shipping, buy a couple, because you could make some really cool printers that way.
When I saw that FL Sun link for it was like $267 here, I was like, I couldn't believe how cheap it was. I had to buy one, just to see what it was like. But I have yet to have it come here from China, so
I think as long as you make a modification to the board, you'll be happy with it. And I am going to be designing new fan shrouds, because the fan shrouds point straight down, which if you're doing a larger print, it's fine, it'll pass over it. But when you're doing stuff like the lattice cube, you can see the overhangs really sort of suffered because the airflow never hits them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to design new shrouds that clip in that point it towards the actual print surface instead of straight down. It's funny when we hit stuff like that though, because I'm like, it's such a simple modification to make that, why didn't they do it in the first place? But I think a lot of times you have people that design these things that are like copying other designs and stuff like that, and there isn't a ton of like test printing and stuff done on them before they get sent out.
I mean, being somebody that will tolerate that type of thing, but that's that's kind of what I do. That's my stick, as it were. But yep. I tolerate that type of thing, but still, you're thinking to yourself, "Come on, really? I mean, there's 5 seconds of work here, and it would have saved this."
Well, that's the thing too. Like, so some of the first early review I saw, it had the parts as 3D printed. This one, everything's injection molded on it. But I was like, if you start off with the 3D print ones, that's when you should get highlighted that like this could be improved on, and that's when you do it. But I think a lot of times they finish designing one of these, and then they're on to the next one for the next 6 months or the next 6 year, or next 6 months or a year, so that they get the next design out. Because apparently the next one up from this one improves on a lot, but it's also $800 versus like between $200 and $400, depending on if you pay full price for this one. So I'll save the $400 and make the improvements myself versus paying somebody else to do my work.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times with these companies too, it's misreplication. So the company will get, okay, we need a large aluminum frame printer, so we're going to copy it as fast as we can and cut as many corners as possible, but we really don't know what we're copying. And you see that with like ANET E12 is a great example. They just missed it,
Yep. Well, they had all the working parts from the way the CR10 worked, and they didn't quite get everything right. It's like they saw a picture of it versus actually having it to disassemble in front of them, and they just picked stuff that looked the same. So chat's asking if any of us have ever built one from scratch. So I've built the Cherry 3D printer, which is under my storage right now. And I also built, back when I didn't have enough money for the CR10, I built something that was kind of like a clone that didn't work great, but it was like my first dive into trying to build one. It was like plywood and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it for builds without a kit. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, if you've been through any of my videos, I built log, as I like to call it. But I really don't. I mean, it was from scratch technically, yes, but it was also a build along with Tom's build along series. So he kind of did the heavy lifting. I just came through with what I could get available in the States and went at it that way. So I really did kind of have some sort of guide, but officially, no, it was not a kit. I had to source all the parts and figure out how to get it to work. So that's really the only scratch build I've ever done.
That build along series was very well done, by the way. And
yeah,
was fantastic.
Agreed.
I haven't really built a printer from scratch, but I've taken parts from a kit that I had gotten that was just crap and tried to make it work with this pile. It's over my shoulder right over here. And I'm still working with that, so there's my success in that. Ooh. I was wondering why it got quiet.
Nice pile. I like that. Any build series, any video that you want to offer, how you built it, I feel for you, because it is pretty difficult to film that type of thing step by step, because the video makes it appear, that this went well. It never goes well. you've got 5-6 hours of video where you're trying to figure out why this didn't work, and then you have to go back through and find enough of it to make a YouTube video. So I commend anyone that's doing the builds while they actually do the video on it. I have so much trouble with that very thing that I will build it, make sure it works, completely disassemble it, and then build it again on video. And that's double the work, but sometimes it actually saves time doing it that way.
Yeah, when I did and I haven't even released the build video for the arcade cabinet yet, but when I did it, I think I built it and disassembled it a total like 3 times to make sure that I got decent footage. Even then, the 3rd time I built it, as I'm editing the video, I'm doing the overhead and I'm looking and I'm like talking, I'm like, oh, and then you screw this and I bring it too close to my body and now it's out of the camera shot. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna add comments. I'm not gonna go back, disassemble and reassemble it again. That's enough.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I try on my desk. Here's a pro tip for anybody that's getting started with overheads. I try to put masking tape around the outer edge of what's viewable. But sometimes you get building something, you're not really concentrating on where the camera is. You're concentrating on doing it, and then you're like all of a sudden like, oh, I moved it out of the viewable area now. Especially after you solder something together. Once you solder it together, like who wants to be unsoldering and resoldering?
Sorry, guys. I got to step away just for a moment. I will be right back.
Yeah, Chris is on call tonight, so he's going to disappear and reappear a bunch. He's I was trying to think of something funny to say, but most of this funny stuff I can think to say probably wouldn't be appropriate for chat. So, so many printers do you have, Colin? I'm just curious.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 7.
I see your selection back there. I've got the CR10, the Zone Star. I've got my original printer bought Simple Metal. I've got the FL Sun, the Cherry. I have one more that should be here tomorrow. I don't really need more 3D printers, but I think most people agree that once you get into 3D printing, you always need a new 3D printer.
Yeah.
Hey, your cat looks a lot like my cat. You got an orange and white calico cat?
Yeah. I also have a tigerish cat, whatever you call that color.
Yeah, I gotcha. The stripes.
Yep.
Okay, now you ask a question. Putting you on the spot.
Is your print space down in the basement? Kind of looks like it.
Yeah, this is yeah, you can tell by the insulation showing back there. I usually don't use this camera angle, but I usually have actually I'm gonna fix that while we're here. Now it's irritating me because I can see it. I usually I'm in my pajamas too, I don't really care who knows. I usually have that.
Oh, I gotcha.
But everything's
That's to be expected with basements.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, my basement isn't particularly large, and I put way too much stuff in it. So
Right.
I have a section that's dedicated to like the gaming rigs for my wife and I. Then I've got my video game collection that's like over that way, and my entire basement. Oh, and then there's the laundry room, and the entire basement, including the laundry room, is like 600 square feet. So I have too many hobbies and not enough space. I think this basement's almost as big as our original, like our first apartment, but it's like, I don't know. I guess I'm too materialistic, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
For those who missed it, I finally did get a successful faceless print off of the FL Sun. And it turned out, I would say, decent. I don't have too many issues with it. There's a little bit of herring on it, but if I hit it with the heat gun, it's going to be good. Layers are pretty smooth. The gloss on that purple is decent. So, yeah.
Just curious, how long did it take for you to get that printer at your door?
Less than a week, actually. It was ridiculously fast.
Really?
I did pay for the DHL, like the faster shipping.
Oh, okay.
So I was
Yeah,
like, oh, X number for the printer, I might as well toss in the extra $30 for the faster shipping. And yeah, both that and the one I ordered last week that's coming in tomorrow. They were both ordered from GearBest, and both with the same shipping.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know where it's at right now. So
Did they at least
who knows what?
before?
I'll have to look again, but I didn't see a tracking number for it. I just picked the regular shipping they had. So
I'm not usually crazy about DHL shipping, but the one cool thing is if they have your cell phone number on the account, they text you each stage of the way, and it's like we'll send you another text when it's out for delivery. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
That's one nice thing about the DHL. It's like there was when the Anycubic came, I guess it had to be signed, and DHL sent me a text. No, it wasn't the Anycubic Photon. It was for some resin, and I guess it had to be signed off. So they sent me a text message saying, it's okay if we leave this with your permission, and text yes. So that's really handy because I've had a few times where it's just a pain where these companies like UPS or FedEx, they need a signature and there's just no way you can be there, and you gotta wait until you are there.
That was actually a snag I ran into with DHL when the FL Sun came in. I was at work, and I don't have access to my cell phone at work, but I popped out on my lunch break to see what was, like, not specifically what was going on with the printer because I wasn't expecting it for another day. And I'd gotten a text message saying, hey, your printer's out for delivery. It'll arrive sometime before 8 p.m. Cool. So I called my wife and said, hey, can you stick around the house? The printer's going to be out for delivery or whatever. And basically what happened is before he delivered, he called my cell phone, and when he couldn't get a hold of me, he didn't go to the house. I was like, so I kind of like, my wife was home all day today to receive the shipment. It's like, oh yeah, they couldn't get a hold of you on the phone, so they returned it to the depot. And I'm like, that seems silly. Like, if you're in the neighborhood, you might as well swing by, knock on the door, and see, because lots of people arrange for somebody to be there to receive a shipment, right? So, what can you do?
Yeah, that's true. What do you do for a living?
I'm a database administrator. Super bored. What about you?
I deliver beer kegs for a living for an Anheuser-Busch distributor.
There you go.
Yeah.
You empty them too? Only occasionally?
Yes. While I'm on the truck. No, I don't. We get in a lot of trouble.
You tap it in the back, and you just hook a hose up to it with a little valve, and away you go.
Yeah, you could. There's hand pumps you can get. Just
there you go.
Pump them and draw them.
You need to 3D print something that's like a remote control automated pump, so that you can just run the to the front, and there you go.
Yeah.
Go ahead and welcome 3D Drucken Krieg. I'm probably pronouncing that terribly, because I know I'm pronouncing it terribly. But welcome to chat. JT Dragonflash is printing at 11 millimeters a second on one of his printers. That's only 1 millimeter faster than I got to the Cherry printer.
That's pretty slow.
Oh, you know what? I think he's talking about retraction speed, which would probably make more sense.
Yeah.
And this chat's just dying without Chris's sparkling personality.
Come back, Chris. Who cares about your job?
We missed you, buddy. Aiming to hit 1K subs before Murph. Now everybody's going to unsub to follow my plans. I got it right. I said retraction speed. That's what they were talking about. Too bad we're not playing Drink the Beer. How many people do we have in chat now? How many people are listening to us ramble on? I don't have an active count. I'm going to say over 2,000.
Yes, definitely 2,000.
But yeah, I was originally supposed to go to Banff, and a bunch of my friends talked me into going to Murph instead. I guess it's more targeted towards just 3D printing, so it makes sense. Now I have to stop myself from buying lots of expensive things while I'm there. I'm assuming vendors come up with 3D printers and stuff like that. Maybe I'll buy myself an Ono.
Oh, the Ono.
Aptly named. It's gonna be funny when it comes out and it's better than anything else on the market and we all look like idiots.
Yeah, they didn't they they renamed it from the Olo to the
Ono, because Olo was already a trademarked term.
I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the resin they use, instead of it being UV activated, it's just light activated. That can be emitted from your LCD screen, I guess.
They don't recommend dumping the resin directly on the screen, though. That's not a good idea.
Right. Don't do that.
Hopefully it ends up better than the Peachy printer. I mean, there was some success with the Peachy printer in the fact that it bought somebody a house.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're not going to see many Kickstarter printers anymore.
I think we're moving away from it because everybody has like there's nothing innovative coming out on it anymore, and they're talking about oh my god, I'm drawing a complete blank. I got derailed by Ron's comment. Never mind. Oh, sorry. They were talking about in one of my chats the other day. Somebody basically took something that looks pretty much exactly the same as the Hypercube, and they're trying to Kickstarter it, and like each printer is like $1,700 or something ridiculous like that.
Oh my god!
You can build for $500 from scratch. New York Maker Faire. I agreed with my wife that I would go to this one and not that one this year, but maybe next year. We'll see how everything goes. Wrong James. Too many people named James. Is Sonic in here? Is that the James we're talking about? I'm reading chat at the same time. I don't know if you're seeing it. JT Dragonflash just mentioned a 5-axis 3D printer. I saw a demo video of that, maybe not the one you're talking about, but one of those running, and it's ridiculous.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Does it actually rotate the print itself?
Yes, so it can print onto the sides of it and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I don't know what the future of 3D printing will end up being. Because that's still FDM. And every time they add a new feature like that, you're also introducing the more likely that your print's going to fail, right? Like,
right.
It rotates it just wrong, or I can envision a world where like it goes to spin it and it ends up just like throwing it off the thing and smashing it.
Yeah. Well, another thing you can think about is the extra feature that's on your 3D printer is just another thing that could go wrong and you'd have to fix. So.
Yep. Yeah, that's 100% true. You know, like the Cherry 3D printer for the most part, which has like no auto level or anything like that. I brought it back and forth to my hometown. I've plugged it in. I've set it up, and like it prints every time. But PrinterBot Simple Metal has a sensor for the bed level and stuff like that. And when I travel with it, it's always like, you know, like half an hour to get it up and running and stuff like that. So I don't know. The simple ones seem to work better.
Yeah.
Although I think the Mark III kind of proves that that's not always the case, because I think you could basically like throw that thing down a flight of stairs and it would still figure out how to work.
Yeah. Thanks, by the way, Callowin Dyke. And Chris says thanks too, even though he's not here.
Thank everybody for subbing to everybody. We're one big happy community, except for that one guy. You know who you are. If you think this comment is about you, it probably is. You always say that, you get a bunch of people that are nervous, like, oh, James doesn't like me.
Any of you all in chat have any questions?
We can answer those questions. Maybe not accurately, because that's pretty difficult, but we can give you answers that sound like they're probably right. Sorry, we're going to give you our opinions, because you can have as many opinions on the internet as you want. Every time I do a live stream, I start losing subscribers. I've lost 2 since we started.
What?
Yeah, people don't think I'm cool enough.
Sheesh.
Whatever, better off without him. I keep saying, oh, I don't know how many viewers there are. There's totally a viewer count in the bottom of this window. We have 12 people watching us right now, so. My audio still going? I might have accidentally muted the mic.
Thanks, JT. Have you talked to other James today?
I have not talked to Sonic today. So I have your print running right now. I don't know if it's being picked up by I don't think it's being picked up by the mic because it hasn't been switching it back and forth. But I picked Hulk's Battle Hammer, I think. Is other James in here?
I haven't seen him on chat.
Sonic crashed a couple years back from his live stream. I'm trying to keep track of chat and who's saying who to what. We came up with an idea that involves you and Colin and Chris.
I'll be right back.
Oh my god, you're gonna leave me on my own? Oh Lord. Okay, you guys in chat, start giving me things to talk about. I don't do well in these situations. I've been looking into that, Mr. Furball. I don't know anybody that's actually tried it. I don't know if a Raspberry Pi has enough GPIO to be able to accomplish it. I think theoretically you should be able to do it because, I mean, they can do most of the things that an Arduino can, but I think you just wouldn't be able to get as much connected to it. And obviously, none of the existing firmwares would run on it, I don't think. So you'd have to come up with something custom, but... What temps do you normally print PLA and ABS? PLA I usually print somewhere in between 200 and 220. ABS I usually print around 230, 240. It depends. It does vary from printer to printer. Stuff like PETG usually prints okay at like 225, 230. But the FL Sun's been requiring me to push it up over 250 to get good prints out of PETG. Plans for the Zone Star printer. Well, it's my only dual color printer, so anything I come up with that's dual color is definitely going to be printed on it. And I was using it as the template design for the 3D printed arcade because that was the bed that I was targeting. Because eventually I do want to design multicolored versions of that cabinet as well. I was going to design a piece to fix the power cable to the back, and then I ended up basically just cable tying it to sort of one of the corner screws, which has worked out fine for strain relief on it. I want to mount an Orange Pi directly to it so that it's more like self-contained with Wi-Fi access, and I'm going to design better spool holders because the current spool holder is just one of those acrylic dealies, and I want the spools to be able to be attached to the printer itself. So yeah, that's it for that one. Each one of my printers, I've got stuff that I want to do. I want to do the dual Z for the CR10. I want to design new ducts for the FL Sun. My printer bought Simple Metal. It needs a complete overhaul. I need to replace the wire chains that I built. It needs a piece to secure the lead screw at the top because there's a little too much wobble in it, which is leading to some Z-banding on it. That's pretty much it. And I got 0.8 millimeter nozzles for the cherry, so I'm going to see. I think that was that Brian's suggestion to switch to a larger nozzle since it can't print faster. Try and extrude more. So yeah, that's what's going on with those. And I have another printer that should be here tomorrow. That once I've finished the FL Sun review, which should hopefully be this weekend, I'll be diving into that one. I'll do a live stream build of it, maybe next weekend. Yeah, PETG does not have much of a smell to it. One of the rolls that I have, it smells a little sweet. It's like kind of reminiscent of the way PLA smells, but not quite. But yeah, overall, it's not fumey like ABS. Ladies and gentlemen, Daryl the Broken Nerd has joined us. He's popped in as my two co-hosts are gone. So, how are you doing, Daryl? Anybody here going to Murph? Everybody spells Daryl's name differently. I was doing it wrong for the longest time, and then I saw his profile on Thingiverse. So I think it's Darrel. Is that right, Daryl? Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll end up forgetting again in 30 seconds. But
As far as I know, we are close to Joe Mike. Me and Chris haven't talked to him, though. Yes, I'm a KC fan.
In terms of filament rot, not actually. The basement down here is pretty dry. My oldest roll of PLA was this glow in the dark stuff that was like over 2 years old at this point, and I just finished the roll and it printed fine. So yeah, I haven't had any issues with that stuff. Actually, I do have one roll of PETG that's kind of gone off over time, but the ABS I have, which is like a 1.5 years old, hasn't given me any issues. So I think I'm just lucky in terms of the overall dryness of my basement. I don't have any nylon. Nylon would obviously require a dry box, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Yeah, my overhead hanging solution is they're the rods that you put into like small closets, so they slide into each other, and then you sort of adjust them out and screw them together. And so yeah, for a pack of those, it was like I think $4 or $5, and I get 2 hanging rods for it. So it's worked out pretty well. How do you start your filament, Colin? Oh, it looks like you have a similar solution to me.
Yeah, I have some spool holders that I designed at top of my bracket shelf thing. Depending on the spool, I mean, sometimes it doesn't fit that spool holder I have, so I have to use this threaded rod with the universal holder from Thingiverse.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll use the filament holder that comes with the printer itself.
You can see my approach is like that. So
Yeah,
yours, but extended out pretty far. I can usually get 4 or 5 rolls on.
that's nice.
The only thing is I don't trust them enough to like feed the filament off of them because there's no end caps. I was going to design 3D printed end caps for them, but ultimately I just take the ones down that I need to use. And I need to add another shelf to this too above the CR10 so I can do another layer of printers. But yeah, space is at a premium.
Well, unfortunately, guys, I'm just back for a moment because, as usual, everything goes to hell when you try to schedule something.
Would you say that you've been crisscrossed?
Let's say that one more time.
Would you say that you've been crisscrossed?
Yeah, I always get crisscrossed. But I wear my pants forward.
I agreed that you have to buy the beers next time. So.
Well, all right then. Well, you're going to Murph, so.
It's true, except for I won't be drinking beer because it doesn't conform to my diet. I'll be drinking whiskey though, so.
You're going to be pricey then.
That's okay. You can buy me one. Then I'll buy you one, and we'll call it even.
Yeah. How's the stream been? Are people on chatting it up?
Yeah, we're super boring. I said I wouldn't bring it up anymore, but it's as a joke more than being upset. I've lost 2 subscribers since we started the live stream. Remember I said every time I do a live stream, I lose at least 2 subs?
Awesome.
It doesn't matter. The grand scheme of things, I don't think there's too many people whose grand scheme of things, like trending is to be going down in subs. So if you're worried about, like, especially when you're getting early and started off and stuff like that, you're worried that you lose 1 sub here and there. Don't worry about it. You're going to lose them sooner or later anyways.
Yeah. Well, there could be various reasons why you lose it. They either delete their account or they're just randomly picking people to unsub from, you know.
Or maybe they think you smell. Maybe they look at you, that person probably smells.
Or that.
And now, the pressure's kind of off now. The whole, race to February 20th, 1,000 sub thing. All of that's done and over with, so.
That's the thing. I was like, because everybody's like, what are you doing now? Well, I actually got asked, are you going to quit? And I'm like, over what? And they're like, well, you're going to lose your sub stats. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, it probably won't be gone for that long. And second of all, like, at the peak, I was making like 20 or 30 bucks a month. Like,
yeah.
If your entire YouTube career is based on making 20 or 30 bucks a month, then you can probably, put your time someplace else better.
Right.
Also, well, Daryl, are you still in here right now? Sorry, I just gotta see if the broken nerd is still in here, because I realized something the other day. I think my wife pointed it out, and it's weird. Daryl and I have basically the same eyeglasses. Suddenly got pointed out to me, and I started, like, I paused it, and it's like they've got the exact same design on the side. I think his are slightly thicker, but other than that, pretty much identical. And it was like, I don't know. Maybe it's only weird to me, but Daryl, you stole my glasses design, man. These are mine. Can't have them.
All right, well, guys, I will check on you as soon as I can feasibly make that happen. But if you're still on, I'll look you up. If not, I'll see you on the next stream, and I'm sure it will be in not too long. So.
Yeah, I think give us feedback, guys. We were talking about doing this maybe like once every couple of weeks. If you guys are enjoying it, let us know, and we'll make it a scheduled regular thing as much as we can. Or we won't. I might get vetoed. Maybe I'm talking on my ass.
All right, guys. I'll look you up here in a little while.
Take it easy, Chris, in case everything's done by the time you get back.
Yeah, we'll see.
Come back, Chris.
I feel like I should play My Heart Will Go On. Chris was gone, but not forgotten. Oh, Daryl saying he'll give up the glasses. That's a true friend right there.
Nice.
Yeah. It's going to get boring again. Oh, you know what? While we're talking about projects, this is another project I'm going to work on. I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to try and improve this. This thing runs on 5 volts. The mini drink fridge, which all it is a Pelcher device in the bottom. It's got a fan. It's got a heatsink.
Nice.
It doesn't work worth shit. It lowers the temperature of your drink maybe 5 or 6 degrees, so it's like slightly less shitty. Oh, I probably shouldn't be swearing so much. Slightly less terrible. There may be kids watching. Yeah. So I'm going to convert it over to run on 12 volts, and I'm probably going to see if I can fit in because there is a bit of extra space on the inside here. I want to build in an Arduino, and I bought some Arduino compatible thermometers that I can connect through serial. So I want to make it so that I can actually set the temperature and it'll keep that temperature and stuff like that. And then while I was at it, I ordered enough equipment that I'm actually going to design and 3D print a hot fridge. I think JT's been working on something similar as well, because we both had a very similar idea at the same time. But essentially what I want to do is have the Peltier device at the bottom, have like a gravity fed system where it's like ramps down and then ramps to the front type thing. So the drink at the front's always the cold. It's sitting directly on the Peltier device, but it keeps all the drinks cold. So it's like a dispenser. You flip down, open the thing in the front, pull out the drink, and then they all roll down.
Nice.
Because I'm lazy. And I also have a fire fridge that's over there, and we never use it. So it's been sitting there with like pop that expired a year ago in it, but it's always plugged in because they get smelly and shit if you unplug them. So
right. That'd be awesome if you could get that little fridge going.
I think it's definitely got to be printed in PTG because with the Peltier device, one side's going to get very hot. But yeah, that's the plan. I don't think the design is going to be overly difficult. Like we're talking about a box that basically has rails down the side so that the drink's gravity feed.
Yeah.
And the software shouldn't be too hard to write. You can basically just monitor it every 5 seconds or whatever from an Arduino, and then it's just a relay that turns the 12 volts on or off.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. If any of you guys are thinking about what I just said, don't try to wire the Peltier device directly up to the Arduino. It's like a lot of them run on like 40 watts or whatever. It's not gonna end well in terms of the power draw through the Arduino. You got any crazy electronic plans coming across? I know you're saying you're working mostly on your Fusion 360 skills to get out of the catting dark ages.
Right. I'm just more or less honing the UV light cure box thing that I'm making. It's
to finish the prints with.
Yes.
And you're pretty happy with the print quality of that printer, especially for the price. Like it's ridiculous that stuff's available that cheap now. It seems like it went from like $5,000 to $500 in one shot.
Yeah, out of the box. I mean, I'm totally amazed by it. I wasn't expecting to put out what it's been putting out. There's some things that I'm still learning about it, just because you gotta kind of think about how the resin kind of flows off the print. Otherwise, you're going to get like residue that still cures on top of the print. Right. That's not supposed to be there, So I don't know. I'm really surprised.
I guess that's like the resin version of oozing.
Yes. But I didn't finish painting this, but you can kind of see the detail of this Batman here.
That turned out, and that's straight out the resin printer. Did you have to do anything to it before you painted it?
No, I just painted directly on it. And in Mesh Mixer, I hollowed it out so it wouldn't be just a solid piece of resin.
So you said you did hollow it out so it wouldn't be a solid piece of resin?
Yeah, through Mesh Mixer.
Right. Yeah, it's like the de facto standard for doing that stuff, right?
Yeah. Just so you don't waste.
That's the thing. By default, everything's a solid chunk. And if you don't put drain holes, then it's a solid block around a liquid resin core, which means if you ever step on it, it's going to suck.
Right. It won't do... I guess you could set it up to where it's doing infill, but just straight up hollowing it out, it's capable of doing it with some little supports to keep it on the bed itself.
What I was about to say that, like, technically you could leave it like hollow and not put a drain hole. The inside would be like a liquid resin, and then when you put it in the curing station, it would probably solidify that because the light would penetrate all the way through. But there's no benefit to doing that because it doesn't matter how much or little material is used per layer. It takes the same amount of time because it's doing all the print in one shot.
Right.
Yeah, that was one of the things that's like, it should have crossed our minds before, and I think we all just realized it during the live stream when you guys were building it. That it really doesn't matter if your patterns, like the whole screen is white or just a little bit of it's white. It's exposure, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. We lost a skewed view 3D. If you're still here and you're on your way out, have a good night, buddy. Yeah, he's doing a challenge right now where he does 3 prints a week for the entire year. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've looked at some of his designs. They look pretty good.
I'm printing one of his designs right now. I'm printing in some ultra cheap red filament, and there's a lot of support material, so I have no idea how it's going to look when it's finished. It looks crummy right now because there's more support material than print, but yeah, I promised him I'd do at least one for this review, so it gets a little visual recognition.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is going on in chat. Oh, okay. JT was responding about the 3D printed arcade, 3D printed fridge. So just don't forget to add rolling cylinders on the top and the bottom to keep the cold air in. Yeah, I think for the bottom, I'm actually going to do like a flip open drawer, so it like kind of tilts it. So when you pull it up, it lifts it, dumps it down into your hand, and then when you put it back in, it lets the next one roll into place. I haven't decided on the top though how I'm going to do it where you drop the cans in, because ideally I want to be able to like just easily put cans in, not have to open much up or whatever. But yeah, definitely. JT's also working on an RC version of the Batmobile that he's been having some issues printing. So if anybody in chat isn't paying attention to chat but's listening to me, if you're good with doing model repair mesh mixer, let him know. You could use a hand or at least a little education. Hoping to get done in time for Comic-Con.
JT, most of the time I just hit the auto repair, and that seems to do it. I don't know.
I mean, why assume that the computer knows how? Or why assume that you know any better than the computer knows how to operate itself?
But that's me. It could be me being lazy, but you know. So which version of Batmobile are you making, by the way?
I believe he's doing the one from the 60s. It's either the 60s or the first movie. I don't remember.
That would be awesome. My favorite, personally, is the one from the first series of movies. Or first movie, yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the one in the Chris Nolan ones. I enjoyed the Chris Nolan movies, but kind of too utilitarian and not stylish enough. I know that's silly because the one in the movie was more realistic in the fact that it could do some of the stuff that they showed it, but
right.
Soup and bourbon, that's a good healthy combo. I would cut the soup and double the bourbon, and then you should be fine. He's printing the 1966 Batmobile, the one with atomic batteries to power and turbines to speed.
With what's his name?
Adam West.
Bruce Adam West, yes.
Adam West, yeah. I forget the name of the guy that played Robin. Dick Grayson.
That would be awesome.
JT's got lots of good ideas. I wish I could steal them all. I'm tired of thinking for myself. Somebody else think for me.
Yeah.
I was going to drink tonight, but with Chris being on call,
Yeah, he might be back.
He's not even on call. He just got sick of us. Sorry, he got sick of you. I'm perfect.
Yeah.
Why do you guys scare everybody away, Colin?
I made you lose subs and
totally you. Yeah. They were like, no, they had to pick between me and you for some reason. They picked you. Yeah, some people just like being unhappy. Surprised Fun King 3D hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah.
Burt Ward was the guy that played Robin in the super fantastic series in the 80s.
Fun King hasn't been streaming as much as lately, it seems.
Yeah, he was, I think, aiming to start doing a stream every couple of weeks, but he was sick for his last one.
Mm.
JT Dragonflash is going to do a Captain Caveman in Desert PLA inside the car this summer. Well, the flu kicked Glenn's ass, and then he went to Maker Faire before he was fully recovered. So now he's in double danger.
Yeah, that flu going around kicked my ass a while back.
I think our friend Rover ended up in the wrong chat. I got a message from him saying no chat.
Oh, he's probably still in the old stream.
The outbroken one. Oh well, if anybody's talking with Rover on something other than in here, let him know he's in the wrong chat.
Communicate.
He's hanging out by himself.
Don't be alone, Rover.
Ah, poor Rover. Inside the car during the summer, here in the desert. Sorry, dyslexia. Okay, I forgive you. I forgive you for your dyslexic moment. That really crappy live stream that we did, that the audio was all broken up and everything, it's got a thumbs up on it.
Sweet.
Somebody was very generous.
I'll thumbs up it.
There we go. I feel like I should go. Well, no, because the chat shouldn't even be live on there anymore. I don't understand how he's even in there. Unless it's like, I don't know, because now it's just a video. Oh, well, you know what? We're just going to leave Rover behind. He can figure it out. Sorry, not sorry, good buddy. Okay, ask more questions. Either you or chat.
And contact your friends and stuff to get in here or something if you got connections.
We're having a virtual kegger. There's no beer. Yeah. You know.
Well, I got beer, but
everybody have a drink with Colin.
Yeah. Cheers.
Colin drinks stuff. That's his new channel. I keep changing positions, and then my head's like way too low in the camera and stuff like that. There's my basement escape window. I can totally squeeze my in the event that there's a fire. Really funny. The thing that's most likely to cause a fire in the basement is what's blocking access to the way to get out of here in the event that there's a fire.
You should totally make a video of that. Like, how would I get out my basement if one of these cheap ass printers caught on fire?
That was a distinct possibility, eh? Well, like I explained with the FL Sun, the wiring wasn't done properly underneath, so. And I thought it was the ABS, because I was printing ABS at the time, which was what overtaxed it and caused the wire to melt a bit.
Yeah.
I thought I was smelling the ABS burning. Nope, that was the connector and the wire in the underneath. We're down to 7 viewers. We scared 5 people off.
They probably had better things to do or something.
I don't.
Michael, hello.
My chat may not be updating. Mine still shows the last chat as being from JT Dragonflash. Oh, there we go. Disaronno on the rocks. Disaronno is the one that you can mix with Coke and it tastes like Dr. Pepper, right? It's the almond. It's an almond liqueur.
I don't know. I mainly stick to beer.
I'm doing the low carb thing right now, which is working. Like, I always lose weight when I do it, but yeah, it means cutting off beer. So
Yeah.
I just drink straight rye.
Yeah, beer has a ton of carbs in it.
Yeah. There's Sleeman's Clear 2.0, which is okay. It's like 3 carbs per bottle, so I couldn't drink enough to do any damage. But I mean,
yeah,
I can't drink enough of it before going over the carb count or to, you know what I mean. You couldn't get intoxicated off of it. And there's another brand that I can't remember off the top of my head. It's the mini cans. They're like 7 or 8%, but it's 2 carbs per. Michelin something Ultra. I don't know.
Oh, Michelob Ultra.
That's the one.
Yep.
Yeah, they make a low carb version of their beer. So. Captain Morgan and 7-Up taste like cream soda. I do like spiced rum, but rum is also higher in the sugary carb count, so I might just be fooling myself. I mean, a calorie is a calorie, but you know.
As far as carbs go, I think vodka is probably the lowest carb you could go. I think.
Yeah, and then in terms of the grain-based alcohols, or not grain-based, but rye is the next most neutral one.
Yeah.
There's a point system associated with some stuff, and vodka's a 2, rye's a 3, rum's a 5.
Yeah.
I think rum is pretty much tied with wine. But anyways. I always have to remember when I go to the States that nobody there knows what rye is. I have to call it whiskey.
Yeah.
It's funny. The last time, let's see, we went to New York last October, and we were in a bar, and I was like, "Can I just get a rye and diet?" And they're like, "What?" Like rye and diet. And they're like, what's rye? I'm like, can I get a whiskey and diet then? And they brought it back, and it was I was in New York, and they served me Canadian Club for the whiskey, which says whiskey rye on it.
Wow.
Straw beer is also apparently low on the sugar side of things. Good to know.
I guess Corona has a lower carb beer out that it's called Corona Premium or something like that.
Okay.
If you like Corona, I don't know.
I have had Steam Whistle. Sorry, I'm answering questions in chat at the same time. Yeah, Steam Whistle. I do enjoy a Steam Whistle. They've got that funky old green bottle design, which I like. What about you, Colin? Do you have a specific brand you stick to, or?
I just stick to Bud Light. And I'll veer off of finance-wise, Bud Light fits in pretty well. But I do like IPAs really well. And some pale ale.
I seem to go in kicks when I am drinking beer where I stick with a brand for 6 or 7 months, and it's the best thing ever. And then at some point I'm just I don't want this anymore.
Yeah. I
was on MGD for a while. I made the decision of being on Labatt Blue for a while, and I have no idea why.
Yeah.
Grand scheme of things, I think maybe I convinced myself it was okay. There's been a couple of cheaper. There's a company called there's a beer Rava, which is a buck a beer plus deposit, which in Canada, Canada-wise, is cheap, and it tastes pretty close to MGD. It seems like it's probably made the same way. But yeah, we're talking about 3D printing and beer.
Why not? Thanks, JT.
Absolutely, man. Message me on Twitter. You can drop me a message whenever you want. Let me know how things are going, and I will keep you in the loop. There's always more room for more in this community. Well, not that you're not part of the community. JT's been crazy busy. He was doing videos and stuff 2 or 3 times a week, and then he started working some other jobs and stuff like that. So, okay, let's see. Mike Whaley has a question. All right, here's a question for you. I have a Monoprice Select Mini. It's been working perfectly fine up until today. It's been with all different kinds of crap. What happened today was it stopped holding temperature on both the hot end and the heat bed. Though I would lose about 10 degrees and the heated bed would lose about 20 degrees, and I have no idea what it could be. Okay. So where do we start? Because there is a bunch of different small things it could be. On some printers, I've seen that when there's an issue with the power going into the main board, So first of all, when does it lose? When does it start to lose heat? Like, is it immediately, or is it partway through a print? Is it when the parts? Does the Monoprice Select Mini have a parts cooling fan? I don't remember.
No, it
can, right?
It's divided from the hot sink to the hot end.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, okay. So it's just one of those. Okay, so that's a weird choice to use that design when you're when you've got a heated bed, which means it can print ABS, right? Because ABS you don't want cooling. Anyways, okay. So start off with, when does it lose temperature? Is it partway through a print, or is it immediately? Like, is it just fluctuating a lot? And are you triggering the thermal warnings on it for it losing temperature? And Colin, obviously, feel free to add any additional questions or whatever. I think we need more info here before we can start taking a stab at it.
Well, I have a Monoprice Mini. I'm just trying to see I haven't had this issue. I have had clogging issues.
I'm thinking, like, in general, I've had 3D printers where, like, the simple metal, at one point there's some damage to one of the ground cables, and when the heat bed and the hot end were running at the same time, it couldn't keep temperature for both of them. So if there's been some damage to the power supply to it, that could happen. He says, yes, it does have a parts cooling fan, but it heats up to the temperature that it will start printing and then immediately starts dropping. Okay, question 2. If you're printing without the heated bed on, I don't know what print surface you have set up on yours, but if you're printing with just the hot end on, does it still start to lose temperature, or? Because that's the other thing. If it ends up being a current draw issue, it might be suddenly engaging the stepper motors and everything that's basically pushing it over a limit.
Yeah, if you turn off like the heat bed, you that could dwindle down the issue, I think.
Yeah, like it won't fix the problem, but it at least let you know that it's probably like a power consumption thing.
Yeah.
And obviously, have you made any updates or changes to it? Have you replaced the firmware, anything like that? I'm sure that you would have mentioned that stuff already if that's something that just recently happened. But basically, was it printing fine yesterday? You completed a print, and then today you turned it on to do a print, and all of a sudden it's all gone to heck? I've also had issues like this where the parts cooling fan and or the heatsink, like the hot end cooling fan, was overpowering enough that it was combing down around the heater block and hitting the bed, and was lowering the temperature of both of them, making it a lot harder to maintain stability. But that wouldn't happen overnight. That's usually like a design flaw.
Yeah, but he's saying like both the heat bed and the hot end.
Yeah, so that's why I'm kind of leaning towards it being like a power issue.
Yeah.
Just because it's weird. Unless it's something like, has the room gotten colder, meaning it's struggling harder to keep the temperature? Don't you get things moving around and everything like that, and it's creating a bit of airflow around it? It just can't keep up. Is the heat bed taking longer to get hotter than normal? Has there been any smell of magic smoke?
That could be a bad power supply.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be the other part of it. May not just be a bad connection. It could actually be the power supply itself is starting to give up the ghost, not providing enough.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? Who knows how cheaply made their power supplies are made?
I don't remember. What's the power supply on the Mini look like?
It's just a brick. Hold on.
Okay. It's like a 10 amp brick or whatever.
Yeah, it's not like the usual power supplies you see on kits.
Right. Well, because the bed on that thing's only like 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches or something, right?
Yeah. Seems like Klondike's had the same problem. I guess the power supply could get really hot and you could kind of tell.
Well, that's the thing. With any increase in temperature and stuff becomes less efficient. So, yeah, the warmer something gets, the harder it has to work for power consumption. Oh, somebody's getting a phone call.
I am. I have been getting calls for me to donate. I'm tired of it.
I feel left out because you're wearing a hat and I'm not. It's not a hat. You got this one here. There you go. I can't pull off a hat the way other people can pull off a hat.
Nice.
Fix my camera here in a sec. There we go. I got this. There. This is a Christmas gift from my, I don't know, it's my wife's cousin, so I guess technically my cousin now or whatever, but yeah, super cool mug. I don't think it's safe for anything. Not microwave or dishwasher safe, so it's ironic that something that's framed after the Man of Steel can resist absolutely nothing, but there's the progress of the current print, which looks like a total of nothing right now because it's more support material than anything. I like to give people motion sickness during the live streams. It's tradition now. I was using the Superman cup as a booster to get this thing up high. This camera is so light that the cable itself is enough to like make it bounce around. Well, now I got the freaking pillar in the way. See what's going on in chat again.
Yeah, give the power supply a whirl. That's probably the least expensive way to fix the problem.
And certainly the least intrusive.
Yeah.
Rye of choice. I like 40 Creek. I like Wisers. There's one in Canada called 99, which is like a Wayne Gretzky brand. I like it. And then after I've had some of those ones, I like Canadian Club.
Wayne Gretzky has his own whiskey in Canada?
Yes, and it's very smooth.
Really?
Yeah. I was impressed.
Does anyone drink Jack Daniels in Canada?
I mean, on a dare, I guess.
On a dare.
But yes, we have Jack Daniels here. We have Southern Comfort. We have, I guess, everything. I mean, I've never, when I go to the States and we go in to buy booze and stuff like that, I've never been like, oh, I've never had that before. I should probably buy it.
Yeah. I bought a Maker's Mark, and I haven't drank much whiskey, honestly, but Maker's Mark was actually pretty smooth.
I'm giving up on the hat. I got the hat here.
You look freaking cool, dude.
Here, I'll do it like this. Like I'm back in high school. The worst part is I do that and I look like I'm 10 years younger. Like it actually works for the juvenile-ness.
What are you drinking Fat Tire-wise?
What was that?
Oh, Klondike. You said Fat Tire, yum yum.
I don't know what a Fat Tire is. I know what the Spare Tire is because I got one down there, but you know.
Fat Tire is a craft beer company.
Okay. Well,
Are there
Michael,
Are there-
can I ask your brother to spread the wealth.
Are there a bunch of craft breweries in your area?
Yeah,
Canada?
there's at least 3 within an hour of my house.
Oh yeah.
One of the more popular ones is, oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. Crap. Come back to me. What's the name of it? Totally drawing a blank. There's one about a half an hour away from me called the Stray Dog Brewing Company, which isn't the one that I'm thinking of, but there's one about an hour away called the Muskoka Brewery, but I can't find the one that I'm actually thinking of. It's driving me nuts now. Bo's Brewery,
Okay.
which I think is pretty much everywhere now. Like they only make it here, but I think they sell it pretty much everywhere now.
Yeah, I think I've seen them.
They've got like, I think they always have 6 or 7 different ones out, but they have 20 different different brews that they do depending on the year, or sorry, the time of year.
I'll give it a whirl, brew it.
Well, good luck, Mike. I hope we, and by we I mean chat, solved your problem.
Yeah, definitely shoot a message to any of us. I mean,
Yeah, let us know if it works out for you. It could be as simple as the power supply. Like I said, I'm leaning to insufficient power getting to it one way or the other. So whether it's internal wiring that's become frayed or the power supply is worn out over time, a lot of these printers are pumped out with a power supply that's just enough to get it working. So if you've got a power supply on it that's a little bit weaker as it's used, obviously, then it may be able to produce less power, essentially. Electronic components are damaged over time by resistance and heat and all that jazz. So, well, heat caused by resistance.
I'll be right back, James.
Abandoning me again.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'll forgive it this time. So who all is left in chat? How many people do we have? We have 6 viewers. I know we've got Ron left. And Michael's left. And Kay Londike is probably still here. Mike Whaley's probably gone at this point. I'm still printing some prints off for my review of the FL Sun. So I'm printing one of his skewed view 3Ds models. It's a what's he specifically called? It's Hulk's Battle Hammer, I think. Yesterday I printed a lightsaber hilt off of it, and then I printed, as I've already shown a couple of times, the faceless model. That's pretty much it. I've got some stuff I got to get into printing after I finish the review of this printer and the new one that's coming in. So, put it out in chat. Who's printing stuff? I know Colin's been working hard doing sample prints and test prints off of the resin printer he's been using, which is producing really nice results. I'm super jealous. I'm going to find out where he lives and steal his printer, which is probably actually more expensive an option than me just buying the printer. Oh, is that why you recommended I print a Rubik's Cube, Mr. Furball? You want a Rubik's Cube solving, buddy? Get Chris to send you his 3D printer or his 3D printed robot that solves Rubik's cubes. Well, Michael Castle, I don't know if you've met Rover yet, but if you haven't, and you do see him in one of the chats later on, ask him. He can add you to his mailing list. Whenever he finds a 3D printer giveaway, he emails this group of people so that people can go and enter for it. So you can potentially get one for free. If that is of interest to you.
Speaking of 2D printing, have you seen the 3D printed CNC?
3D printed CNC?
Yeah.
I have not.
It's the most popular one. But anyways, I have all that set up and, well, I have it all put together except for the actual table part. So I'll probably do some videos on that, see how the process of that goes.
What's the projected bed size for that?
I'm doing the minimum, but you can make it as big as you want it, really. Just on how you set it up.
What's it used for motors? I guess I could probably go look this up myself, but since we're talking.
Just 17s.
Huh. I saw a design for a CNC machine that it works almost the way the hang printer does. I don't know if you've seen this, but like it's like the cheapest thing ever. It uses a series of cables, so the cable's allowed to like triangulate position and stuff like that, and then it's got counterweights on it, and it cuts sideways into your section of wood. So you build a stand for your wood and you put it against it, and it navigates its way around and cuts out the patterns like that.
Oh wow!
And it was like cheap to build. It was like a few $100s, I think, and you could basically expand it to whatever size piece of wood you wanted just by replacing the cables. If I can find it.
Yeah, it is, Bruit. I'll send a link to James, and then he'll post it. If YouTube will let us post Thingiverse.
It always screws up the Thingiverse link, so I usually just toss up the number.
It's got... The community is huge behind it.
Is this the one I was talking about? Yeah, it's called the Maslow. They did a Kickstarter campaign for it. For under it'll cut 4x8 for under $500. I don't think they ever got back to selling it though. It's unfortunate because I really wanted to get one. It looks like it does a pretty decent job for the price of it. So I will post both of these links. This is the Maslow CNC. You can probably tell by the fact that the URL is Maslow CNC. And then I'm going to try and paste Colin's link. If it doesn't work, it's thing 724999. I'm definitely going to watch some video content and stuff on this, though, because I want to see how fast it gets. The accuracy of the Maslow CNC is not as good as it would be in a solid frame, that's for sure. So it really depends on what your use case is for it. What I was looking at, it was for building new cabinets for arcade cabinet, or new cabinets for existing damaged arcade cabinets, which meant that like for the cuts and stuff that I was doing, I wasn't going to put in like the mounting holes and stuff like that. So I didn't need perfect accuracy. I just need something to get it close, closer than me cutting it by hand. and then I would sand the sides and stuff to get them perfect. So it's like, oh, that'd be perfect. And it also doesn't take up a lot of room. You can store it. So
I'm hoping after I get the CNC set up and working to make a arcade cabinet, a miniature arcade cabinet out of plywood.
that would be cool. I have built, let's see, I've built 4, 5. I've built 6 main cabinets so far, not including my 3D printed one.
Were they all orange pie or retro pie? Or
no, actually, the 3D printed one is the first one that uses the pie. The rest of them were all PC based.
I got you.
So they're all running Hyper Spin for the UI. I don't know if you can make it out here. I'll quickly give you guys motion sickness again, and then I got to switch so I can see the camera angle. And yeah, I can get an angle on it. I can't. Okay, 2 seconds. Sorry about the. I'm gonna cover up the camera so there isn't as much motion sickness. Okay, there. Now we should be able to. There's the 1943 cabinet.
Okay. Yeah.
Then there's a replica Defender cabinet that I built. And then that's an actual. It's actually Paperboy with that they converted to Mortal Kombat. But those are the ones that I have left. The other ones were builds for friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the ones for my friends all turned out better than the ones that I kept because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to something else that something that somebody else is going to be using.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you follow me on. Actually, I don't even know if you're on Twitter, but I posted pictures of a Miss Pac-Man replica cabinet that I built, and that one by far turned out like the best. It looks like a legitimate cabinet.
Thanks, Mr. Furball.
Mostly printed CNC 525. What's it using for smooth rods? They look like they're hollow?
Yeah, they're actually conduit.
Oh, like
electrical conduit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you can upgrade to some other kind of smooth rods. They're more accurate, but I just stick with the cheaper ones.
I'm going to... I got to sign back into Thingiverse. I'm going to follow that one, though. That's totally something I would try and do this summer. Thank you. The 1943 cabinet I tried to build as cheap as possible. All the artwork and stuff was done using paper acquired from the dollar store. It was just to see how cheap I could build it. I think that one was like, because it was a recycled monitor, recycled computer. I think it cost me less than $100. And it works okay. 1943 is probably my favorite game. I make sure every time I go to a fun spot in New Hampshire that I spend a few hours playing it there.
They had an NES version of that, and it was hard as heck.
It is, yeah. And especially if you've been playing the arcade version, they're both. I'd say the difficulty level is pretty similar, but if you've gone from the arcade one to there, the way it plays is completely different.
Oh yeah.
And obviously because of the screen aspect ratio, because 1943 is a vertical game.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to a horizontal version on the NES, which means you have less time to react for stuff coming off the top of the screen. But yes, definitely going to like this for future reference and collect it. Man, there's going to be so much support material in this print by the time it's done. I just realized it's doing support material everywhere. So all the little holes and stuff are full of plastic. Well, I'm going to go check out this video that Kay Klondike, or Klondike. I've been saying Kay Klondike all the entire time. It just occurred to me that it's probably Klondike. I'm going to go check out the video of their main cabinet. The custom-built Hyperspin MAME arcade cabinet. Oh, looks like a good design. You went with the chrome T-molding on the outside. I do like the way that looks. And you got some pinball buttons on the side there. And it looks like you used a 4x3 screen, or you framed in a 16:9 screen. Either way, 4x3 aspect ratio. I like. I was going to do 4x3 for the 3D printed arcade cabinet, but the 4x3 screens are significantly more expensive to get your hands on now. What's in the box? What's in the box? See, yeah, with a proper PC. Let's see. I went to pause it and it turned this music back on. I screamed in everybody's ears. I'm trying to decide. What is that? Is that like a first generation i5, i7 in that? Looks like a motherboard out of like a Gateway or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong though. The I/O header in the back doesn't look standard, but it's also a dark image, so I can't tell. But also, assuming that this is a power supply, that's also not a standard size power supply. Here I am trying to like analyze it. Basic to LK. Let's see, flipping through here. And you carved your name on it. I like that. Okay, so you got yourself one of those standard wireless USB keyboard and mice or keyboard touchpad combos stored underneath there. What's the box that you've got mounted under there? It kind of looks like it's a power supply. Is that what's actually powering it? Ain't no standard ATX power supply, I can tell you that much. Or is that for audio? You're probably explaining all this in the video, and I'm just, I've got the audio muted. I do like the look of your lit up controls, too. I've only built one with lit up controls so far. Alright, so you got volume control built into the front there. That looks good. You know what you need to do now, though, right? You need to build a bar fridge into the bottom of it. That way, when you're playing your games and you're upset because you just lost in Mortal Kombat for the 735th time, you can just crack open a cold one and it won't even matter anymore. I think I got Colin's endorsement. Oh, he's got a fancy router. That's doing a real nice job. The cutting surface on that side, like size-wise. I feel bad for Klondike. They just want to show off their MAME cabinet. Now I'm constantly asking questions. Yeah, it makes sense.
How do you feel this?
I was looking at a couple 2x3 ones from AliExpress. If you buy them from China, they're pretty affordable. They only take 6 to 8 months to get here.
Oh. Usually when I look on GearBest or AliExpress or whichever China-based company, I always see if they have a U.S. holder. Or usually I won't get the product because you don't know if it'll be able to make it overseas.
Yep. Well, that's what, like with the FL Sun, right? It came from overseas. It was, the bottom was pre-assembled, but the heated bed was snapped off by the time it got here.
Yeah, this is probably the first time I've done this.
See, Ron's got to figure out order 10 at a time. 1 to the 10 is guaranteed to work.
Yeah. So what if you do with the 9 that show up?
Well, if they all work or some of them work, then you sell them as a local seller, and you sell it back. Colin, are you going to Murph?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I probably should guess. I think you and Chris are traveling together, right?
Yeah.
I forgot that when I put in the description for this video, I put Chris's basement, Colin makes stuff, and I are hanging out, chatting, and answering your 3D printing questions. Parental Guidance suggested. This ain't your daddy's 3D printing live stream.
No way.
I do have to start wrapping stuff up, though, unfortunately. I got to be off of here in about 6 minutes.
Okay.
I don't think Chris is coming back. I think he abandoned.
So either.
Oh, Chris, why have you forsaken us?
Shame.
Okay, well, remember, if you're not subscribed to Chris, Colin, or myself, please do. We're going to try and turn this into a regular feature, even if it's just me and nobody else wants to be part of it. And we're always going to be willing to answer questions and stuff. So if you have questions, write them down and bring them to us. And again, can't guarantee the right answers, but we'll say something.
Yeah. And my channel's new, and it's a learning process. But I do plan on putting on more content out there. So
the channel
all of you that subscribe is much appreciated.
The channel should be called Colin Plans to Make Stuff. For now, we'll be making stuff 100%. I do have a Facebook page. I do not update it very frequently. It hasn't seen a lot of traffic on it. Probably partially due to my fault, but generally I concentrate on Twitter and YouTube itself. And I don't know if Colin has a Facebook page set for his channel yet.
No, I don't.
Are you on any social media?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I don't really use much of either, so.
I think Twitter is the most active 3D printing YouTuber community, I would say.
Okay.
Like, all the bigger ones are on it. There's constantly chat stuff happening there. So if you're not Twitter adverse, then definitely get involved there. Start watching what people are saying and stuff. It's you see a lot of stuff there first. Like when the Broken Nerd's working on stuff, you can see 3 or 4 weeks in advance where his process has been before the video comes out. So you see them designing the models, printing the models, all that type of stuff. He updates through there.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty, well, a couple minutes left. Anybody got some last minute questions, or should we just wrap it up so you don't have to look at our ugly faces anymore?
Should we get plastic surgery?
3D printer. Yeah, it burns my face. 5-axis 3D printer to do that.
The Kardashian 3D printer nerds.
Yep. Keeping up with the PLA faces. Man, I'm so tired of printing benchies. I'm going to switch to a different... look at this. This is all from the FL Sun. And there's more upstairs because I printed various different materials at different speeds and stuff. I have a fleet. A veritable armada of stupid benchies.
I think it was 3D printing nerd. And have you seen... He was printing something off of a SLA, I think, the Moai.
Oh, is that the sunken one?
Yeah, the sunken 3D benchy. That was actually pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah, it looked really nice, and I was like, oh, I don't have anything that's cool enough to print it. But you do. You probably do that.
Yeah, I could try it.
You know what else I was supposed to do tonight? And I just hung out and chatted here. So I really have to get a Maker Coin redesigned for Murph. Because I bet you there's going to be at least 2 or 3 people that want them. You can throw them out.
Yeah, I've designed one. I've got one on support still, but hold on one second.
I 3D printed the German printing nerds one the other day. It turned out okay, but his text is too small on the bottom. You know what it says? It's fine to see it, but the text on it's too small to make it other. It says the German printing nerd. Other than that, I mean, you could, you know.
Oh God,
Destroying the universe?
I need to enlarge it, but I don't know if you can see that. It's got an MS, and the M is supposed to have a face on it.
That looks cool. I love the SLA or the resin stuff. Give me 2 seconds. I gotta go grab something. Keep everybody entertained. It's up to you now.
But Murph on Dyke. If you're talking about Murph, it's going to be in Indiana.
Sorry, guys. So here's my original design for a Maker Coin. There. Oh, you can't see it because it's all washed out. Let's try this. There we go.
That's pretty cool.
So and there's a transparent blue. Then the back of these also have like the URL for my channel engraved into them, and it's shaped to look like an actual Game Boy.
You could totally use your zone star and do 2 different colors on there.
I have been considering that, actually. That's one of the ideas that I've been playing with, but I want to print a bunch of them before Murph, and so I'm thinking I'm going to redesign it so that it'll print on any printer. But
Right.
I was also thinking about like pause at layer height and stuff like that, but I don't want to have to mess around with that. I want to be able to send off a whack of them and have it print them. I'm also still waiting for the I ordered a knockoff build hack like surface for the Zone Star, and it hasn't shown up yet. But once that's on there, then it'll be a lot easier to like say print 20 of them on one bed and go.
Yeah.
I think I will design a multicolored version of it because I can always print the multicolored version on a single colored bed and everything just comes out in the same color.
I don't know what kind of magic this PEI that I got from Amazon, but the PEI that I got before was just crap. But the PEI that I got for the FT5 this time, it's just been great. I've had pretty much everything stick onto it without any problem.
I don't have any special print surface on anything. For the CR10, I print right on the glass. I give it a quick spray of Alberto extra hold hairspray. The Zone Star, since I've been sticking with PLA for the multicolored prints, I've just been leaving masking tape, and that works fine. The FL Sun, I've got. It actually did have some sort of build surface on it, which is this. I keep pulling it out. It keeps getting worse because it's sticky on both sides, and because the probe on the FL Sun is basically the nozzle is the positive and the bed is ground, it just touches. Mm-hmm. So this was a build surface that you can see they printed onto the print spool or the spool holder, but this is conductive. So if this is on the bed and the nozzle touches it, it still registers a touch.
Oh wow!
The printer bot Simple Metal so far is the only one that I've succeeded on using hairspray onto an aluminum bed and having it print successfully. So, and then the Cherry I just print onto masking tape again. I think the new printer that's arriving tomorrow has some sort of build tackish material already applied to the bed, so yeah, we'll see. Well, I guess we should probably wrap stuff up. Maybe Klondike's going to join us at Murph. Looks like Ron's trying to convince them.
Yeah, Klondike, definitely, if you do end up joining Murph, let us know.
We will be there with some amount of Maker's coins, I believe. So if you find stuff, you can have one. If you don't want one, well, take it, be polite, and then throw it away so I feel good about myself.
Either resin or FDM. If you get an FDM one, it's because resin's too damn expensive.
You got to make yours like just. I mean, that one you showed is nice and small, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
I think Ron's going to take at least 3 of my Maker coins. I'm debating if I'm going to print them all in one color or if I'm going to. Like, that's the other thing too, is if I make I am going to have to remodel this. I actually modeled this using MS Paint, believe it or not. I drew it out in Paint, and then I made all the individual parts different colors, from light to dark, and then imported it into 3D Builder and said treat it as a layer map. So black ended up being a hole, dark gray ended up being indentation, and then basically all the way up. So the buttons and the buttons and the controls were the lightest. Then second lightest was the framing. Third lightest, and the text. Then third lightest lighting was the back of it. And then so I created 2 images, because then I did the same thing for the back of it, and then I merged the 2 together when the model was generated. But now that I know Fusion 360 at least well enough to draw this, I'm going to do a better job, because this thing prints really, really slow, because when you draw it in Paint, this ends up just being a bunch of pixels, and then each of those pixels ends up being its own surface when it's printing, so it stutters when it does the curve. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think that is it for us. Sorry that the live stream got off to a little rough start, but hey, nobody died, so. I mean, I guess I should say that until we actually click the end button. But okay, well, I am James from Print and Play, which most of you probably know because I'm hosting it. And Colin, go ahead.
Colin, I'm Colin. I got a channel called Colin Makes Stuff. Please subscribe.
You're making stuff.
I'm making stuff.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
And yeah, if you're into CNC and stuff, like he said, he's going to be doing some videos on that in the summer, so that should be exciting. And I'm probably going to rip off his idea and print my own. What's the old saying? Good artists create, great artists steal, something like that.
Well,
everybody have a great night. Thanks for joining us.
Everybody borrows ideas.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's why Thingiverse is there. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks, probably. Night.
Thanks, everyone.